European.
Oh, what a great introduction that was. And yeah, if you're asking me to your prom, that's creepy. That's just, yeah, that's.
For them or you?
Yeah, well, no, for just, I think it'd be weird, some 55-year-old going to someone's prom, unless it's like a college thing. Like, if it's good enough for Bill Belichick, maybe it's good enough for me to bring
a
some
military ball. I don't know. There are options.
Yeah, that military ball would be good.
Yeah,
that's fun. That's good. Somewhere I can drink is usually is now the cutoff.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least 21. Come on now. I'm just saying, but
Speaking of drinking, have you gone out in Columbus at all, or have you just been staying inside?
You've seen me across the aisle all weekend long. You see me here on Friday night on this stage.
I do.
You saw me here last night with Rosario Dawson pushing her up with the money. So
I saw her
I've
and
been
the money
working
and you,
nonstop, and I've been able to eat twice at the same hotel bar. Once was a grilled cheese. The Friday night I was hosting, I had enough time to run back, order a grilled, because I said, "What's the fastest thing you guys cook?" It's like a grilled cheese. I'm like, "Perfect, give me a grilled cheese." And I only got to eat one half of it because then I looked at my clock. It was 9:05. The show was starting at 9:30. I ran upstairs, got my beautiful jacket, put my food in my fridge, and then came down running down to this, hosted, then got back and collapsed. And then last night I did pierogies at the same bar. So I got some time now because I'm not hosting, and had their pierogies, and here we are again, all over again.
You really sampled all that Columbus has to
I know.
offer.
I did as much starch as I could. Give me all the starches you can make.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time we can go out in Columbus.
If
you have recommendations, let Brian know.
I had a whole list. I have literally a whole list that a friend of mine's like, "You going to Columbus? Oh, let me give you a list." And it's like in a double-sided pink note, whatever it was. Anyway, it was so many places to go. And then I took it not to be rude and be like, "I'm not gonna have fucking time for this bullshit." By the way, there's gonna be some cursing, so if you're here with some kids, you don't want to hear any of that. I know I'm wearing the Lord on my chest, but hey, man, I'm going to curse a little bit. If you're a fan of my rated R work, there might be some donkey show questions and stuff, and I just want to make sure you're prepared. There you go. Interspecies erotica, fucko. You got it. There you go. So there you go. There's your heads up. There's your warning. You feel free to stick fingers in kids' ears or
earmuffs.
Put earbuds in and give them Fortnite. I don't care. Whatever you need to do.
Well, I love journey. I love the path that people take to get where they are now. So I've actually never talked to you about this. What is it?
No, this is like, it's really weird sitting opposite you, like, and having like a deep conversation of what I've done.
I know, and all my clothes are on, so that's exciting. This is a change
By the way,
of pace for us.
there's another warning. There was clothes taken off at some point.
What led you to acting? What was your moment of inspiration where you were like, that is what I want to do, and then how did you get started?
Well, I was the youngest of 3 Irish kids, and so I've 2 older brothers. One's 9 years older, one's 6 years older than me. So the age range of playing with them was not really there. They were born in Ireland. My family is born and raised in Ireland. They came over to New York in 1965. I was born in 1969. So my playing and stuff was never with my own brothers. It was like neighborhood kids and stuff. And so what my parents would call like stop acting out, and I turned it into acting. So as a young kid, I went into the young talent contest. I just was always watching like cartoons and really funny comedies. My father was a big fan of, like the Honeymooners and, Lucille Ball. And he was a big fan of stand-up comics like Carlin and Richard Pryor and Lenny Bruce and stuff. And so having that exposure of like, the power of making someone laugh is just so intoxicating as a performer sometimes that I turned my acting out into acting. And so I did that as a young kid. And then when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 9 or even 10, was introduced to role-playing games, so D&D. And then D&D, you created characters and backgrounds, and you were living other lives. You were not living your life. You were at a table and living these other lives. And that really helped me develop the character building and stuff like that, and being able to perform. And that's something that just went on. And then when I went into high school, I was part of chorus, and I started to do some of the plays that the high school did. And then went to college, took all the courses I could in college for like building sets and lighting design and costuming and movement and all this other stuff. But I was like arrogant. I'm like, well, a degree's not going to get you a role. What do I need to finish college? So I stopped going to school because it was expensive, and B, once again, I got arrogant. I'm like, well, I can't just show up to an audition like, but I got a degree. Of course you should hire me. That's great. Degrees are awesome because then you can teach, and you can actually get a job in the arts that way. So then it was from that I stopped doing acting. I was going out with this girl, and I started I needed money. I was a young man, wanted to make money, so I worked for a supermarket chain, worked my way up to management. But I always had that lingering of wanting to act. Now, I still role played games, so I got my creative outlet that way. Um, and so then a friend of mine, we used to go to movies, and I used to bitch. I'm like, oh, that guy sucks. Oh my God, look at that. Like, how is the director doing that? Like, and my friends would be like, shut the fuck up. Why don't you go out and audition again? So a friend of mine found an audition for the stage play version of Dracula. And it was not far from where I lived in central New Jersey. He's like, you should go out for this. The auditions are on Sunday night and Monday nights. And we'll drive you down there. We'll do this. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I show up at this community theater playhouse to audition with two friends. And they were like, are they auditioning? Like, oh, no, that's my lawyer and that's my agent. Just goofingly, he said that. So I auditioned for the role of Renfield, the lunatic, or so people called him, and got the role. Went through the rehearsal process, did the show, and this is when before the internet, so newspapers came and saw the show and reviewed it in the paper, and you went to get the paper and read your review, kind of a thing. So you didn't wait until it showed up on your phone because there were no cell phones and stuff like that. And I started a trend of going into the community theater. I was like the young new kid in the central Jersey area, like, you want to see this guy kind of thing. So I went on to do that. I did a show called The Dresser. I did a play. I did a Fiddler on the Roof. I did a play version of Charlotte's Web where I was Templeton the Rat. I was always the murderer or the killer parts, which technically, as you know, are always better written.
That's
The
right.
evil villains
The
are
villains
always
get the best
given the
lines, they
best
get the best
dialogues, they
songs.
get the
Yeah,
best
villains.
storylines. So I got this nice trajectory of really great roles. And it was through that first theater that I started acting again in that Kevin lived in the town next over, Kevin Smith, and went to them saying, hey, I want to make this movie, and you guys know actors. If I rent your theater to hold auditions at, can you call your stable of actors? Because once again, this is before the internet, before people had cell phones. So that you'd have a Rolodex of cards of people's names and stuff like that. And then I did a month earlier. Hey, Brian, this is Joe Bagnol. Are you going to, there's these kids, he said this, there's these kids in town that are going to make a movie next. They're holding auditions next month. They're going to make a movie this spring. And you're about the age range they're looking for. I'm like, oh, all right. What do they need? Like, just a headshot and a resume and come in with a prepared monologue. I'm like, okay. Month goes by, totally forget. Sunday night comes and goes. Didn't show up to that audition. So Monday morning, my phone rings and it's Joe's like, hey, Brian, where were you last night? I thought you were going to come out for it. I was like, oh, shit. Was that last night? Oh, my God. Because I was doing another show at another theater at the time called Wait Until Dark, a really creepy thriller. It was made into a movie. As a matter of fact, they had the last revival on Broadway. Quentin Tarantino played the part that I played, which was Mr. Rote. So I said, oh, shit, is it again tonight? He goes, yeah, tonight at 7 o'clock. I said, okay, great. I went down there, cobbled together this monologue out of a dialogue from Wait Until Dark, and did this very threatening kind of audition, which if you have the 10-year anniversary Clerks X, it should they as one of the extra DVDs, all of our auditions that were videotaped that night are on there, and you'll see it's a perfect TED Talk of how never to audition for a film. I did every classic mistake in an audition. I turned my back on the audience. I was angry, like the wrong type of angry, looking down at the stage. But I think in Kevin's mind, it's like, wow, if this cat can do, he wishes he had a villain. When I got off the stage, he goes, man, I wish I had a villain in this movie. It'd be perfect. But he liked the fact that I had this energy to me, and he knew that I came from theater, that in theater you have to know a script from beginning to end. There's no stop, cut. Oh, wait, guys, can I do that again? I totally messed up on line. You have to know that script backwards and forwards, and your cast members, your co-stars have to do it as well. Because if someone goes up on their lines, as they say, if they fuck up, you have to be there to kind of give them a cue that'll get them back on track. So he thought, well, he has the most dialogue in the film. This character, Dante, this cat is from the theater. He kind of has a really unique look. Let's go with him. So I came back and did 2 callbacks with him. Now, I had heard from one of the guys on the initial audition that all 6 of the principal characters already cast were just auditioning the day players, like the customers that came in and out, sprinkled within the script. So when I went back for the callback, I thought the callback was for a day player because I didn't know what the script was about. I could have been auditioning for porn for all I knew. So I was auditioning with Kevin, and we did the independent contractor scene, which is the scene between Dante and Randall talking about how in Empire Strikes Back and Jedi, they blow up the Death Star, and what about all those independent contractors and stuff like that. So we do that scene. It's very funny. Kevin's reading Randall's lines. I'm reading Dante's. And he's like, what do you think? I'm like, oh, this is very funny. Like, that guy, Randall guy is hilarious, and he makes a valid point. He's like, you want to do it? I'm like, I'd love to do it. And then I said, who are they in the movie? He goes, oh, well, the movie's called Clerks, and these are the two clerks at the convenience store and the video store. You'd be one of them. I'm like, oh, when I went to the first audition, your guy said that the principals were already cast. He goes, oh, yeah, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that. So his good friend Ernie O'Donnell, who he had cast as Dante, was bumped. And so the man who would have been Dante moved on to other roles. He was then Rick Derris. Yeah, you're out of shape. That guy at the counter is who he wound up being. But he's been in literally every Kevin Smith movie since.
Yeah, he probably still doesn't really send you a Christmas card.
No,
Thanking you for bumping you for Dante.
We were very good friends. As a matter of fact, he runs Kevin's movie theater right now. As a matter of fact, he's a really great guy. We bust each other's chops all the time.
Good. I know you're going to get a lot of questions about Clerks.
Sure,
Obviously, we can expect that. I would like to talk to you about The Floor.
Let's do it.
You were on a game show on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And not only were you on a game show on Fox, you dominated that game show. You did really, really well. Do you want to tell us about your time on The Floor for folks who haven't seen it?
Sure. So funny enough, here we are at GalaxyCon, and one of the people who used to work for GalaxyCon actually is a casting director for Fox and other TV shows for that matter. And she had reached out to me, and she said, hey, Bri, would you be interested in being part of a reality competition show? And I said to her, listen, I am not getting naked or afraid, so you can stop right there. She goes, no. There's this new game show. It's a huge hit right now. Rob Lowe is the host. It's on Fox. It's called The Floor. I'd never heard about it at the time. I wasn't watching Fox TV, to be honest with you. And so I was like, really? She goes, yeah, you can binge the whole thing on Hulu. It's like a trivia game. I'm like, okay. She goes, I know you're like a trivia kind of guy. I'm like, I've been known to know a few things. So I watched the first season. I'm like, oh, it's a flashcard game. It's literally a visually flashcard game where you put anything on a screen, you just say it. Like duck, dog, bear. Like that's pretty much it, but it's a certain topic. At least they give you the hint of what the topic is. So I went through the audition process in the sense of like, well, let's set up an interview with the producer. So I did, and they gave you a test sample via Zoom. And then they said, do you also have a valid passport? I go, oh, passport, okay. Yeah, it's good until September. Oh, no, you need a passport that's at least 6 months beyond the dates that we're looking to film, which was the end of July, the beginning of August of last year. And I was like, oh, okay. But let's go again. So I had a few days later, I had another interview with another producer, and they were talking to me, and I was like, well, how'd you hear about it? I'm like, oh, well, so-and-so recommended me and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what do you do for a living? They're like, oh, well, actually, I'm in the entertainment business. I'm a actor and a producer. And she goes, oh, is there anything we would have seen you in? I said, any of the Kevin Smith movies? He's like, oh, really? I'm like, oh, I know what the problem is. And I took off my glasses, and I said, I'm not even supposed to be here today. And then they were like, wait. I said, turn your monitor to black and white. Maybe that'll help. And then they were like, oh, shit. And then they're like, well, why do you want to do this? I said, it's something I've never done. I've never competed on a game show like this. And why not? And they were like, okay, great. Went through the process. I then had to renew my passport. And so I decided, because I also have my Irish passport, because my whole family is born there. And so you can go as far back as your grandparents to get your Irish passport. And when I was 20 and I was in Ireland, my aunt's like, you're getting your passport because you need to have it. It's a good thing to have. So I got my passport, and every 10 years I've been renewing it. Always thinking it's my in case of emergency passport, like some fucking James Bond villain. Never knowing that one day I'm actually looking at real estate in Ireland going like, this fucking country is going to fucking crazy town. I may need to move back to me, ha-ta-tee-ta-ta, and then get my Lucky Charms back in Ireland. So did that. They brought me on board. Once I got my passport cleared, they said, travel department says, hey, we're going to send you, you're on board, we're going to get you. And they also asked you, what subjects, give us 5 subjects you'd be an expert at. First subject I said was ice hockey, the NHL, because I'm a big hockey fan. Second I said was Comic-Cons, because literally 20-something weekends a year, I'm at one of these things. Third was like science fiction. Fourth was like aeronautics, and fifth was like. And I've been known to hang around a convenience store. What did the producers pick? Convenience store items. There it is. And then they ask you for 5 different looks for wardrobe because you have to buy doubles of everything. So I gave them 5 looks. The hockey jersey and the red pants, my first choice. I said, this is what I'd like to use. Because I remember watching the first season, and there was a dude in like a very pink suit it was very memorable. Some chick in a yellow kind of outfit was very, like solids together, like primary colors really stand off when there's 100 people on a digital floor. So I was like, I'm going to find something that makes me stand out. And so I found a non-logoed New York Rangers hockey jersey from a site called hockeymonkey.com. And I said, this is my choices. And then within a week, they got back to me and said, yeah, your choice is good. Oh, I skipped one of the important parts. One of the important parts, they actually do a legal background check on you. And that took 2 weeks, and I heard nothing. And I was like, fuck, what are they finding that I haven't heard back?
They found it. No.
And I was like, this is because of J Muse. Yeah. I'm affiliated with J Muse somehow. And so, no, they were like, it all cleared. Everything's good. And once that was done, and I was on my way. I didn't know what my subject was going to be until no one knew what their subjects were going to be until they got to Dublin, Ireland, because that's what happened. I got an email with the travel docs, and like, you're going to Ireland. I'm like, what? Not knowing that it's a lot cheaper to make the floor in Europe. Why is that, people say? Like, how come you can't make it in America, damn it? Because we have a thing called your employee pays your health insurance here. And that's a third of an employer's payroll. While in Europe, they have this... Get a load of this bullshit. They have this crazy thing called national health care over there, and they don't have to pay. The employer doesn't have to pay for it. Thus, it's a third cheaper to produce things over there. Why? Because everybody in that country goes, you know what? Collectively, I think it's best if we're all healthy. And I think if you take a little bit of my tax money to make sure everybody's healthy and has good health care, then we can solve that problem.
A novel concept.
Yes, a novel concept indeed. And so there we were. And now I was on the show. They flew us out there. We had a little orientation. And then we started playing, and Monday through Friday is how you tape it. 1 episode on Monday, 2 episodes on Tuesday, then 3 episodes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's where the wearing and tearing of people's minds happen. Sure. Because, you guys get to watch it just once a week episodes. Literally, we only had an hour and a half in between each episode. And each episode to film takes about 3 hours to make. So it's a bit of a drag. And you're seeing about 21 to 28 people that you've been hanging out in this big ballroom gone. And that's the other psychological thing.
It's like they take them out and kill them.
Every day you checked out of your hotel room with your full suitcase. They put it on the bus. They take you to the studio 45 minutes away. You get into costume, you get into hair and makeup, and then they mic you up. You go into the other studio, you're playing, and people get eliminated. They get walked off the stage. They walk off the stage. Bye. Oh, this sucks. I leave. 2 mental health people who are waiting off stage. They guide you to another room. Oh, you were almost there. Oh, gosh, good love you. You were there. You were so close. I know. They were really tough questions. Do you need anything? You'd like a cup of tea? Would you like something? Would you like a pint? Anything like that. And they make sure you're all right. But once you're done and you sign everything, there's sometimes a post-game interview with them. If it's early enough in the day, you're in a cab getting to the airport and on the flight that day. Otherwise, you're sent to the airport, hotel, and then the next day, you're out. Now, some people are like, well, I'm in Ireland. I've never been here. I want to tool around. You totally can. But it's up to you to change your flight, pay whatever change fee it is, and then you're there. So just so you know, as we speak, the new season 4 is going on. It's about to wind up. They're casting for the new season. So if you want to go to thefloorcasting.com to apply, do it. I say run and do it.
You two could win some money. How much money did you win? It was a lot.
So one of the objectives of the game is to win. There's 100 squares. Everybody has a certain category. My starting category was convenience store items. And then you challenge your neighbors. It's kind of like Othello where, the next square over is the only people who are touching you is who you can challenge into a duel of their subject that you're challenging. And so at the end of the night, whoever has the most squares of each episode won $20,000. I was activated. I was challenged by episode 2. And then by that point, I'd won that night, and then it lasted 6 weeks in a row. So I won $110,000.
He's a smart guy. He's smart and ruthless.
I have the record for the most duels, being 9, 8 of which I won. And 2 weeks in a row, no one challenged me at all.
You're
because
scared.
Because they were scared.
Scared them.
And it was funny because Rob Lowe was like, "Hey, Brian," because he pointed out, I was like, "Man, you're sitting there doing nothing, winning money." Oh, like, whoa, Rob. It's not me doing nothing. It's me watching everybody else do nothing. And everybody's like, "Whoa."
Shit talker.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Rob Lowe said you belonged on the Mount Rushmore
I
of the floor.
know.
I hope you get that.
I was shocked of the love when he was promoting the show because it takes a while. What happens was, the other thing too is, the company filmed 2 seasons back to back. So before we arrived for season 3, the week before they'd shot all of season 2. And so we shot the end of July, beginning of August. By September, they had already edited that season 2, to air. We were scheduled to come after the Super Bowl this year in February and then run all the way through March. And so when he was promoting that, the new season 3, and I saw that interview where he's like, "Oh, Brian is like the Mount Rushmore." I'm like, "What? This is awesome." He's awesome. And to be honest with you, people ask me, "So how is Rob in person? How does he smell?" And I'm like, he smells
does he
great.
smell?
He does
Yeah.
smell great. He smells awesome. But the only interaction we had with him was what you saw on screen, because there is federal laws that govern game shows. You can't be seen fraternizing with competitors outside of the realm of the game, because it would make it seem like I saw him buy 5 drinks at the bar. Of course he's going to let the game go his way, that kind of thing. So there's no impropriety at all. That's the only interaction we've had. I've never met him before at any event. We've never filmed together in any type of film. But yeah, so I'd love to hang out with him now, because I've done it. And look, and if they do like an all-stars, like 10 seasons in, and bring like 10 people from the past 10 seasons together, I'm all game for that. It was a great experience. I loved working with the production. It was one of the most efficient, coolest productions. I felt such a connection to just being back in Ireland with
Yeah, I
where
was
my
gonna
roots
ask
were.
how that
So
was returning.
It was
and
emotional.
doing so well. I mean,
it-
you are one of the. And I also come from an Irish family. You are undeniably of Irish lineage.
Oh,
Like you
yeah.
have a Claddagh ring on. Like you,
Clattering,
yeah,
Celtic Cross.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, how was it filming in Dublin?
Yeah, Brian Christopher Patrick O'Halloran. It's all there. It was awesome, and I felt a nice connection to my ancestry, and it was weird because as I was winning the money, I got emotional, because you just won such and such. And I'm just like, this is unbelievable. My family, my immediate family, left this country for economic, for search for economic gains, and here I am coming back to that country, get choked up telling it, and getting economic gains back in our home country. So it was nice. It was really nice being there. I loved it. I wish I could have stayed longer, but I had another con to go to. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to do Smoky Mountain Fan Fest that coming weekend that we were finishing. So we started on a Monday, and depending on how long you're in the game, you don't know when you're leaving, but the game goes as long as, obviously, until the Friday, the last episode. And that Friday, I was supposed to be in Tennessee for a Comic-Con. And as the days were going on, I was calling my agent. Now, I told the agent I was filming something. I couldn't tell them what I was filming because I signed like a $3 million non-disclosure. But I said, "Look, I'm still filming," and I had to come up with something like, "There's weather here, and where it's all exterior scenes, and so until the weather clears up," which it was bad storms going through Europe, so I had to delay it. And then finally, my agent's like, "You got to make a cancellation video for this show." I said, "Okay." So in my hotel room, I was like, "Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I'm in Europe right now filming something. And there's weather, and I'm not going to be able to come out for Smoky Mountain Fan Fest, but guarantee you I'll be there next year, and we'll make sure we'll make this up to everybody," right? And so then it happens, and then as we're going on, because I filmed every single day into the Friday, and then that following weekend I was doing another show. So once I got done, I couldn't just kick around. But what was great was, because I lasted so long, I was there, and there was a whole group of like the last 10 or 15 of us of the last 2 episodes that we all celebrated with the winner of the show in the hotel bar. And then one of the guys like bought 2 bottles of their finest champagne, and it was like little weird rock star kind of feeling
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
just some regular cool people who are all very smart and capable in their own specialties. And it was really cool to meet 100 people in so many categories, but also there was like a core of 10 of them who I really got to become friends with. As a matter of fact, this weekend, yesterday, one of the guys, Scary Terry, who was Ocean Bodies of Water, he came and visited because his son was at a ice hockey competition here in Columbus. So it was nice seeing him. And then it's nice we call ourselves, people from the floor call themselves the Floormily
Okay.
instead of family.
It is a stretch, but I'm glad
it's
that
definitely a
it's
stretch.
okay. I'm glad it's happening. I love that for you. Congratulations again on your big win.
Thank
It's
you.
very, very exciting. I don't know if you saw it. You should. You can watch it on Hulu. Very, very fun.
Season 3.
Watch Brian be super smart about all kinds of things. It's awesome. I have one more question, so please start lining up. It's audience question time. There's a mic on a mic stand. Don't all run at once. Settle down, everybody. Please go line up. Yeah, you get my love and admiration because you're the first. My question is, other than 1 million conventions a year, what are you working on? What's next? What's happening?
I'm working on a documentary about a paleontologist. Yeah,
Amazing.
Look at me with
These cute
dinosaur bones.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, so this guy's been working in the paleontology for decades now, and he, within this year, made an incredible discovery. A friend of mine's been pushing me to do a documentary on this cat for the past 3 years, and I've been like, I'm super busy, and documentaries is not my forte, but I'm very fascinated by paleontology in general. So then when this discovery happened and my friend contacted me, he's like, look, so-and-so now has found this, and it's going to be the only one of blah, blah, blah. And we need you to document it because we're taking it to this lab in Cincinnati to have it scanned and blah, 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 to confirm a bunch of things. And I was like, okay. I took my film gear, went to Cincinnati, met up with these guys. We rented a big Airbnb house. We then went to this lab in Cincinnati and took this big item and had it scanned. And so I'm filming the reaction of the paleontologist with the technical person showing him the layers of this CT scan of this item and just seeing how he's super getting like sweaty and like, oh my God, could this be what I think it is? And blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't want to tip his hat on that. So that's been going on since March. We went out to Montana June and did a week of filming at the dig site with his team to do all that type of stuff. So I've been working on that side of the camera. I have a movie coming out called Delco, the movie about Delaware County in Philadelphia, about high school kids. This one kid is a reverend's son, never gotten into trouble. This new girl comes to the high school, is like, what do you mean you never gotten in trouble for anything? I play the reverend, I play the father. I'm, the hard-ass reverend father. And so that comes out this coming year. TV series called Heavy Hitters is a TV show about 6 or 7 families where the kids are being recruited by Major League Baseball in high school to become Major League Baseball players. So I play the dad of the star catching prospect. And so we're filming a couple of seasons first before we release it so that we have it already in the pipeline. So that'll hopefully be out next year. And then Kevin is talking about doing another Jay and Silent Bob movie next year as well. Yes.
I think we can clap for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Store Wars. Jay and Silent Bob's Store Wars about the cannabis shop. The cannabis shop gets some competition, and they're not going to have any of it.
I love it. I'm so excited. You're a busy, busy guy. I'm really excited to see that documentary. You've really built the suspense. I can't wait to find out what was discovered. I'm so curious.
I'm waiting for them to do the actual news release so I can stop saying, and I can't tell you about it. So
I don't know.
Say,
it made me
yes,
want to see the documentary.
I'm working on that documentary about that.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Shall we start some audience questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Hi. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Corey,
Corey.
and I'm just wondering if you could choose to pick a specific actor or actress who could be in your next movie, who would you choose?
Ooh, that is a fantastic question. Not without present company
Appreciate it.
withstanding.
You didn't have to do
No,
that.
I know that, but come on, I know the game. No, not with the present company withstanding. Every time I've worked with Rosario, like there's just this natural chemistry that we have. It's almost the same way with Jeff Anderson, to be quite honest with you. There's just this unspoken kind of. There's no explanation. It's just there. So anything with her would be great. Look, I'm just saying, if Jon Favreau, sees this thing and, John, you're in New York. Come on. There could be, a Jedi with a bit of an accent. Come on, man. Just saying. I'd love to do something with Star Wars. But yeah, Rosario's she's so good at everything she does. And she was here this weekend, and she's already on a plane, so it's not like I got to kiss her ass. But she's really phenomenal to work with, and she puts in the work. But the other thing that's great about her that you don't get to see, off screen, she's so real and so level and so just authentic. There's no facade. There's no bullshit. you know, when she came and did the first table read of Clerks 2, we had asked her because that was like the third choice of the producer who's now in prison to be in that role. We asked you like, why did you say yes to Clerks 2? And she said, honestly, I wanted to see how you're gonna pull off this donkey show. That's how straight up, like, yo, I want to see this shit happen, kind of she was. So I got to say her. So thank you so much for that one. As far as
Thank you.
actor, a male actor, had I had the chance to work with Anthony Hopkins, I find him incredibly fascinating as an actor, and I've followed him since the Royal Shakespeare group, and like I've seen his stuff on PBS, and he just had it. He just has this gravitas that, as an actor, especially someone who loves playing villains, just loved gravitating for. Like when Silence of the Lambs came out, I was just like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. This is awful. I'm in love. Like, this is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
especially that fava beans line.
Nice Chianti. Yeah.
Yes, nice Chianti.
Hi there. What's your name?
How are
What's your
ya?
question?
Hi, Michael. First Ginger, it was a great Gambit costume on Friday. I love that. And Brian, you were a great host. I loved that too. It was
Thank you.
very
I
fun.
appreciate that.
The question for me is just when Clerks 2 became a reality, how'd that feel for you when it finally hit that, this was all coming back?
Clerks 2?
Yeah.
It was great. We were told what happened was the anniversary for Clerks 10 year was coming around. And as a promotion, we released the 10-year anniversary. We were releasing the 10-year anniversary DVD. And as a little bonus thing, we decided to animate the funeral scene that we never got a chance to film because A, the funeral parlor is like, absolutely not. You're not knocking over a casket with a body in it. And B, we just couldn't, we ran out of time. So we animated it. So we were in the voice studio out in LA recording the voiceovers for that scene when Kevin's like, by the way, I have some good news. I'm like, what? He goes, I'm doing a Clerks 2. I'm like, shut up. He goes, yeah. I'm like, are you in? I'm like, done. And I'm so in. Let's do this. And then he went to Jeff. And Jeff's like, what? No. And he's like, what? He's like, why would you want to fuck up the love that we've fostered with the first movie? And number 2 of anything is awful. To which Kevin's retort was, Empire Strikes Back. And he was like, that's an exception. But that was the type of thing. And it wasn't until literally the 3rd day of filming that Jeff finally said, I think we have something here. And so here's what the thing. So filming for Clerks 2 starts in Orange County, California, Buena Vista, right across, literally an abandoned Burger King right across the street from Knott's Berry Farms down near Anaheim. And so the first scenes that we started shooting was me and Rosario in the office of the movies where she's talking about, I'm telling her I'm moving to Florida, and then we did the nail painting scene and stuff like that. There's a lot of things you realize, like you don't shoot films in actual linear order of the film. You do what's available first. And so that stuff got filmed. Day 2, we're filming other things. By day 3, the dailies come back, and Kevin edits as we film, meaning whatever we filmed 2 days earlier, he's editing 2 days later on. And so we set up a hotel room literally right next, there was a Days Inn right next to the Burger King that we used as our trailers. Instead of having trailers for everybody to live in, we just took over this Days Inn. And one of the rooms was his editing suite. And so during lunch, he's like, guys, come here, come on up. And I was like, I want to show you what I got so far. And he brought me and Rosario and Jeff up to show us, he had put a rough assembly together of the whole office scene between me and Rosario. And I didn't know it at that moment, but eventually over the time, it was an obvious chemistry between me and Rosario that during that conversation, Jeff's looking, he's looking at me, he's giving me the you dog kind of tap, just while watching this. I'm like, what? And he goes, wow, because everybody was kind of worried, like, what is this hideous fucking chud gonna be like with one of the most beautiful women on the planet? How is that chemistry gonna be work? And it works. I don't know how to explain it, but it worked. And so Jeff was on board from that point on. So we knew kind of then it was gonna be something, but you never know. Like, we're working with a live donkey. We're at a go-kart track, which was my favorite day of all filming, besides making out with Rosario in the car, but which I purposely made the first take wrong.
Pro tip.
Oh, just pro tip out there. And so it was a lot of fun working. When people ask me what's your favorite movie you've worked on, I don't have a favorite. I say it's like asking a mother her favorite child. They're all very special to me. But when you're asking me a specific question, what film I had the most fun on, hands down, it's always been Clerks 2. So
Thanks.
there you go. You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi there. What's your name? What's your question?
Yeah, you can clap.
Yeah,
That's
you
good.
clap. Good, I do. Sure.
Hey, my name is Fade.
Hey.
We live in an era right now where it's a lot of reboots, a lot of remakes.
I don't know what you talk about.
So, in the event that there was a reboot or a remake of a favorite movie that you may have, it sounds like you're really into villains. Who would you want to be in that reboot or remake?
Of films I've done or any film?
Oh, any film, not necessarily one you've done, just maybe like a film that's close to your heart.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a tough question. I don't know about a reboot or remake, to be honest with you. I would just love to be some sort of sinister villain in either the Marvel universe or a sinister villain in the DC universe or Star Wars or Star Trek. Any of those 4 major universes. Now, here's the problem, though, is like it's about the writing. The reason why reboots and remakes are happening is because the hedge fund operators, the owners of the studios are looking for safe returns on their money, right? So these are not the creatives. They're math geniuses, and they have AI to give them all the math they want to do, right? But there's no art. We are literally in hundreds of thousands of square feet of nothing but art in this building. Every single person you see at their booth, artists, creatives, you guys are the ones that appreciate the art. You guys drive that industry. So, if you buy more of that, support those ideas, those studio owners won't be able to compete when y'all are doing really good stuff, right? So things like plug Smiling Friends, for instance, which I was just recently on, by the way. They're doing very edgy shit, which is really good. That's not really what corporate would do. They would never even think of that type of stuff. So that's the type of stuff. Giancarlo Esposito has this great speech at one of the cons recently about taking a chance and being creative. And it is. It's all about taking those chances. Because that's the church I would donate all my money to.
I love that answer.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely clap for that. Hi there. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, I'm Daniel. I actually just got a 37 dicks tattoo like less than an hour ago that I wanted you to
Oh
see.
my God, that's
Fresh.
awesome.
My question is actually with some of your movies being a lot older and people like me who are only 22, younger than a lot of those movies, there are a lot of younger fans. And I was wondering, like, is there anything in like older movies or older things that you've done that you would like to stay out of the mainstream now? Or like younger people now, you wouldn't want them to hold on to those things or see those things?
None of my work am I ashamed about doing.
Mhm.
There were parts of my lives that if I made a mistake, those were lessons I had to learn. So there's Vulgar is not a movie not for everybody. It's not a movie for everybody. I've done some really cheesy horror films out there as well. People go see it, do it, support that guy, support that filmmaker as well. There's never anything that I'm like, fuck, please, can we not talk about that? Every time I do these Q&As, and it's especially with a moderator, one of the first things, and it's a standard question, is like, is there anything you don't want me to talk about? I'm like, there's nothing. I'm an open book for a lot of things. So there's nothing that I'm not going to be like, nah, well, please don't look at so-and-so. I'm not a big fan of it and stuff like that. It is what it is. I've made those choices in my life. I'm never going to be like, well, if I had only done this, this would have been better. No, I've learned those lessons. And now I know when I go on a film set or I work as a producer somewhere, I try, even here, even at this con, I try to educate other people about certain things they should do better, even at their booth or even at whatever, or doing our show for that matter. When we do the burlesque show, I try to be as most professional and respectful thing. Look, I live by a very simple one rule. Do unto others as you want done to you. That's it. Just treat people like you want to be treated. I go to any place that has a name tag. Anybody has a name tag at a place? First thing I look at. Hey, Frank, how are you? I'm Brian. Hey, is there any way that I could get more towels up to room blah, blah, blah? Or, hey, hi, Susan. Or if they don't have a name tag and they help me and they go, okay, can I get your order? And I do, like, and she walks away. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, what was your name again? And even though she never said it, she's like, oh, it's Susan. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, Susan. My family's worked these jobs. My brother still owns a bar restaurant in Palm Springs. My mother worked for the Hilton Corporation for 40 years. I worked service industry jobs all the time. We're all human beings, every single one of us. So that's just do unto others as you want to do unto yourself. This guy would have said it, if you believe it, but it doesn't, you don't have to believe in this guy. You don't have to believe in any guy. It's just a basic tenet. You just want to be treated like you want to be treated. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we have a little over a minute.
Yeah,
We
speed
have
round.
Speed round. How many folks do we have in line? We have 4 people in line. All right. You believe
Let's
in
do it.
yourself?
Yeah,
Lightning
we can
round.
do it.
Let's go. Very quick.
All right, hi, I'm Alex. So for Clerks 3, was that a movie that you were wanting to get made for a long time, or was it something that kind of Kevin Smith was just like, oh, here's a draft of Clerks 3, because it was a while between 2 and 3?
Sure. So there was a while between 2 and 3. A quick answer is he had a script for the next one within 7 years of the last one being made, 2 being made. It was a very dark script. People getting murdered, Dante having cancer. Not a good script. It was very dark during time, and the Weinsteins were still involved as producers, which was the main reason why both Jeff and I were like, don't want to do it. But secondly, it was like, ooh, this really doesn't feel like a Clerk script. So that years go by, Kevin has his heart attack, has a revision about what he wants to do, writes a script that you eventually see on screen, and that's where we're at.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome.
Hi there.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
I'm Mike. I'm a retail manager. Been one for quite some time now.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, no. Brother, I appreciate you.
I
Thank
got you.
And I appreciate you recognizing the name tags. That's huge.
Recognize.
For sure. So one of my favorite lines from Clerks that really resonates is, this job would be great if not for the customer. I feel not exclusive to retail. Any industry someone works in, it's never really about the job itself or the customers, but the people with you in the trenches that really make your day livable. Looking back on your collective body of work, if you had to choose one or a couple people that really helped you get through all the bullshit of the day-to-day minutia, who would that be and why?
Ooh, Alan Rickman, one of them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Give it up for Alan Rickman. Yep. All right,
Okay.
our last.
I'm Amber, and I can tell you guys he does in fact do the name tag thing because he did that to me on Friday.
Aw.
So yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
As a person that's worked a lot of fast food and retail jobs, it's always confusing but nice afterwards.
I hear you.
My question is, were there more episodes planned for the animated series?
Yes, we have 12 more episodes all ready to go.
What were those like? Since
Well, one of them
we're
we turned
probably
in.
never going to see them.
In 2 of them, we turned into Clerks 3. The Randall wanting to make a movie about his life was going to be a 2-part episodes of the cartoon. And so Kevin hung on to that storyline, and here we are fleshing it out in the real flesh. So that would have been 2 of them. We're ready to go. Kevin can do an animated Clerks series anytime we want. We just can't do it in the same art style that you saw Steven Silver do, unless they get on board. And they own all the pre-production work. We went to Hulu, or his people went to Hulu before we made Clerks 3 going, hey, we want to do a Clerks animated series again. You own it all. There's all the pre-production is already done. You don't have to spend a dime on any of it. All the main actors part of the first season are ready to go. I have 12 more episodes to go. Let's do this. And they were like, nah, we good. And that's because Justin Roiland had come out with Solar Opposites and a couple of other projects that he was working on for them. And so Justin was their boy. And so then stuff got said about Justin that was, I don't know what's going on with that, but then, they kicked him off what he needed to be kicked off of. And so I've been like, I don't like to kick a guy while he's down, but Kevin, get back in there and be like, yo, I could be your boy and we all good here. You know what I mean? So hopefully at some point we can. You never know. We could have a art style similar to Smiling Friends or Rick and Morty and do our own thing. And that's the thing I bug Kevin the most. Just so you know, I am your biggest advocate for getting the cartoon rebooted. Trust me. I annoy the fuck out of Kevin about getting it done. Because look, this gorgeousness ain't gonna last forever, but our voices are still here. And if you looked on the show floor, it's every voiceover artist has gigantic lines. I'm like, yo, we got to get the young kids in by 30-minute or 22-minute increments on half-hour episodes. So trust me, I want to do it as well.
So maybe coming in the future. Thank you for your question.
Well, consider me first in line for the reserve for when you guys finally release. the next
Perfect.
season.
I guarantee you all y'all are going to be in line for that. I appreciate it. Thank you
Okay,
guys so
everyone,
much.
give it up for Brian O'Halloran. Oh, thank you for being here.